Hey, Tburrier from Tburrier.com. Today I'm going to talk very briefly about six of what I consider modern day really leadership superpowers. You could say that most of them are human superpowers, but they really apply to leadership. And so I'm going to jump right in, and these are very applicable to those of you who get the whole idea of servant leadership. So the first three are really they're really stacked on each other. And so the first one is listening. Listening is an absolute superpower today for everyone because so little of it is done and so few people know how to do it well. And it is a massive trust builder. It's also a massive trust breaker when you don't do it well. And it's not taught. You and I did not get deep listening training. We were told to sit there and shut up, right, is our form of learning. But listening is such an incredible thing to do with another human being. And it just builds bridges with people so fast because it's a demonstration of caring and love. And you might think, well, love, that doesn't have any place here. Sure it does. Sure it does. If you don't love and care about the people you're leading, you shouldn't be leading them, right? You should go do something else. But listening is number one. That is a place we all have to work on constantly. We have to learn not just the technique of it, although we do, because we have to practice that, but the heart of it. The second is being good asking questions, which is another major superpower and not so easy. I mean, you have to have deep training in this and a lot of practice. And when you get those two rolling together, it's just so powerful. Most really astute leaders would tell you it's not having all the answers that matters. It's knowing the questions to ask. And so that's the second one. And they build, those are what I call core competencies, interpersonal core competencies. And those are two superpowers. But the next one is a leadership communication competency. Also, it's powerful in relationships, but it builds on the other two. So if you're not a good listener and you don't know how to ask good questions, then it's very difficult to do the next one, and that is be a strong empathic communicator. That is an ultra powerful leadership superpower, and it is the fastest way to build influence with someone besides solving a problem. Solving a problem is a major credibility and influence builder, but being an excellent empathic communicator, you can build relationships so strong that people want to run through walls. They just will. They'll do anything for you because you have made an investment that's deeply meaningful. And so that's a big time skill that you have to work on. And again, same thing as with listening. You got to work on it both from a technique perspective and a heart perspective. You've got to really get right the mindset of why it matters so much. Number 4 is prioritizing. And prioritizing, sounds simple, doesn't it? Oh, you just prioritize. Man, there's a lot to that, right? Because prioritizing is, while it is a single activity, it is stacked inside of many others. Time utilization and planning and goal setting and action planning and strategic planning and all these other things all fit around it, not to mention the interface of what you're doing. And the interface of the resources you're working with. So there's a lot of aspects that go around the prioritization piece. But in general, getting good at it is a superpower. And one clue I can give you, and this works personally, but also works corporately, is your values have to drive it, right? So from a personal perspective, your values, your principles, and your beliefs drive your priorities. From a business perspective, your core values have to drive your priorities. If they don't, then you're going to have a big problem, right? Then you're going to be a reactive company, and you don't want to be a reactive company because usually if you're reacting, that ain't good. So prioritizing is powerful because it makes sure you are doing the right things at the right times and staying ahead and operating from a proactive perspective. Number 5 is empowerment, which would certainly make sense from a servant perspective because strong servant leaders understand that, you can only command minimals. That's all you can command. That's all you can authoritatively demand in a setting. And that's what you get, right? If that's your tool, if fear and control are your tool, you're going to get the least someone's willing to give, but what they have to give just to stay. And they don't even realize how costly it is to try to replace someone, especially in today's world. They don't even know that. They just know how it feels. And empowerment, man, it's the servant leader's tool, right? It's helping that person understand how what they do, right, relates to what they're trying to accomplish, but cycles all the way through their job and their impact on the team and their impact on the company, and then how that branches into the customer, and how that leads to opportunities or for either advancement or life improvement for this person. And then also it involves helping them understand what they're bringing to the table and define their strengths and help them believe in themselves. And I mean, all these parts are integral into empowerment. But man, when you do that, right, you're creating awesome people. And that's a leader's job, is to grow people, right? So that's number 5. And then number 6, and there's more, but these are the 6 for this. Self-discipline. Whoop, self-discipline. What's that got to do with leadership? Everything. Because you, as a leader, do not get the luxury of people ignoring you. You don't get the luxury of people looking past your weaknesses. You don't get the luxury of people looking at where you're messing up in life. You get the opposite. You get the microscope, right? You get the binoculars. People are watching everything you're doing. It's like, oh, what are you doing over here? They're seeing the fruit of everything you do in your life. That's why I'm such a massive proponent of 3 circles living for organizations and for leaders, because all you got to do is show one area of your life where you are not congruent with what you are teaching, talking about, saying, and you have just destroyed your credibility. And so it won't matter what you say anymore, because they'll always be able to point to that and go, yeah, but you don't do that. You're not what you're talking about. Self-discipline is a massive superpower, right? Because it's how you build the right habits that create the right overall results that, by the way, inspire others. And that's a whole nother topic, which I'm not going to take time on now. So those are 6 superpowers. There are more, but those are 6. And if you get those 6 right, man, you can do a lot of good. You can do a lot of good in a lot of ways in your leadership position. If you have a question, feel free to shoot me an email. I have a link below to my website if you want to check out some of the training that I do, or maybe you need some coaching. Just let me know. All right? Take care.